Samantha, you are such a great wife. I am just lucky to be with you. My husband, Henry, who used to say things, would. Now say you are no G because you are just a high school. You are not a good human being.
Henry would only say mean and nasty me now. When did our marriage, which was supposed to be very happy and peaceful, start to fall apart? I still don't know what went wrong got wrong. My name is Samantha. I have been married for 3 years, a stay-at-home wife and a mother to our daughter. My father passed away when I was young, and my mother had to work very hard to raise me alone. Perhaps it was because she pushed me so hard, my mother tends to start my middle school. I think Mom was very relieved to see me graduate from high school. But after graduation, she quickly became ill and passed away. I have no grandparents either, but the CEO, Alex, and his wife. Isabel worked with me after I graduated from school until I got married, took care of me very well and acted as my companion so that I was never alone. I met my husband, Henry, through A from my high school. My friend invited me to go to a bly party, which I thought was a world connection, but I went and met my no husband there. My friend saw that my husband, who had shown much interest in women before taking good care of me and showing interest in me, so the friends encouraged him to continue. We started dating in a lighthearted way. I was surprised when I found out that it was actually the first time for both of us to date someone. I was very surprised that I was the first girl he ever dated because he had such a great smile, wonderful personality, and seemed so popular. I had never met such a nice guy in classmates or at work. So I said yes when he asked me to be his girlfriend. He was really cool and kind, and I'm proud to have dated him, and everyone envied me because of it. About a year into our relationship, my mother's condition worsened. And she had to be hospitalized even after doctors treated her. My parents had eloped, and I had nowhere to go out with, so I was all alone. Henry supported me when I felt like the world was against me, so it didn't take much to think that I couldn't live a life without him.
On the one hand, Henry had to support Samantha. I'm the only one Samantha has, so I protect and take care of her.
Henry told me that was all he could think of at that time. If Henry had not been there for me then, I don't know what I would be doing now. I can only thank my husband for supporting me then and now, and taking such good care of me. About a year after my mother passed, found out I was pregnant.
When I told Henry that I was pregnant, he was overjoyed and said, "Really? There is really our baby inside of, thank you. I thought it was too early because so short since your mother passed of, let's get married, Samantha. Please let me be your family, Samantha."
He proposed to me with such kind words. Of course, I said yes, and he hugged me back, because I couldn't imagine my life with anyone other than Henry. Besides, I felt that I was getting pregnant by my father and mother, who were in heaven being happy and supporting me being Henry. Just imagining what the future holds, I'm filled with happiness and can't help but smile. I thought I was at the bottom of my grief after my mother died, but I never knew that one day would come when I could be this happy. I am the happiest person in the world. At that time, I really thought, before my stomach was too big to fit into a wedding dress, we had a wedding ceremony that Alex and Isabel attended, and they walked me down the aisle on behalf of our parents.
We think of you as our own real daughter, Samantha. I have watched you work hard after from high school and joining our club. I support you from the bottom of our heart, and I hope you will consider us as parents. Don't be a stranger and don't hesitate to ask anything from us. Or is it too forceful on you to core as your parents?
Since Alex said such thing, I replied, "Course not. I am so happy and feel very cherished. Thank you very much."
I decided to take Alex's words and glad at his words. Alex seemed very proud of walking me down the wedding aisle, and after my birth, at least once a month, I would visit Isabel just to show Rose. I am so grateful to Alex and Isabel for taking care of me, and Rose as if we were their real blood-related daughter or grandchild. I am only indebted to them now, but when I have more time, I would like care of them as my blood-related part. Henry is also very caring about our Rosie and takes good care of her at home, and of course he takes good care of himself too.
When Henry sees me moving around, he does all the household chores and talks about Rose perfectly since I'm a housewife. I'm here too, but if you do everything, Samantha, there's nothing for me to do. I'm so lucky to have a lovely, hardworking wife. Then to Rose, he said, Rosa, mommy worker, isn't she?
As he said this, he put Rose on his plate with her.
Henry would immediately notice when little tired and would quickly offer Samantha, Are you okay? I can cook dinner for all of us.
And he would quickly make a very good impression on all of us. He is really a great guy. However, when Rose turned 2 years old, Henry's attitude and behavior began change. There was a change in his workplace. He was assigned to a much busier department before. He used to come home at 7:00 p.m. at latest after he got assigned to the department, coming home at 9:00 or was the earliest, and there were many. Since Henry comes back home after work and leaves the house before dawn, Rose misses her father a lot. Henry spent most of the weekends in saying that he was tired, and our Faye as 3 was also greatly reduced. Then he started talking a lot about Meredith, who had become his cow in his current department. Meredith is said to have graduated from a prestigious university in New York City with a high GPA, but she doesn't hold it against him at all and is always willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Whenever Henry talks about Meredith, he's always very happy and smiling. It makes his life at work a lot easier.
Good for you, for having such a wonderful coworker.
Yes, I really appreciate her for being in our department. Meredith is really a very smart woman. She reads things 2 or 3 steps time and doesn't show it off at all. She makes my job so much easier. She's the only reason I'm getting by.
The only time when my husband is in a good mood is when he praises Meredith. If that was the only thing he did, fine. But little by little, he compared himself to Meredith and began to complain about everything I did.
For example, when I was taking care of my room, he said, Hey, hurry up and clean up. What a slowpoke. If it was Meredith, I bet she would quickly at a time like this. She's so good at anything she does.
Meredith is all my husband ever tall now. Lately, it seems Henry has been calling me her nickname, which is making me somewhat uncomfortable, but I can't quite put my finger on why.
Another time, he got angry when I DEU his shirt before going to work, so who do you think take cares of you? Ironing is the simplest chores for housewife who spends every day like Sunday. You can't even do the simplest chore, just play with Rose and don't cook enough. What a married life I feel bad for. There are women out there who are capable of doing the household chores. They work at office, but it's hard to ask a fresh out of school graduate like you.
He said this as he laughed.
I wanted to say that I'm doing my best, but I held back my tears and just put on a shirt, which my husband just took in his hands and wore it.
Of course, without thanking me and to work without saying anything to the woman Henry said about earlier, he was probably referring to his cove Meredith. I cried alone, thinking how he used me, but how did this happen? He had never said anything mean to look down on me as a high school before. But Henry's words were I took it in because I did have AC. After that, my husband's words and became worse. He still came home late and recently had been working on the weekends as well. Not at home at all, taking care of RC or doing any of the household chores. Whenever Henry is at home, he will do anything he can to make himself feel more comfortable, but in his free time, he would rather be working than doing nothing. What did I do wrong? Why can't I make Henry happy anymore? Maybe the situation is like this because of stupidity. It's all because I didn't graduate from university. I am such a useless person. I feel sorry for Rose as I was being bad mother. It would be better if I didn't exist. These kinds of thoughts kept going around in my head every day. Alex and Isabel were very worried as I gradually became worn out with realizing it.
Hey, Samantha, are you sick? Maybe you need to go to the hospital for a checkup. Don't worry about Rose. We will look after her. So why don't you go and get yourself a drink?
Alex and Isabel were both very cute, but there was something wrong with their relationship. It's just that our family wasn't doing well.
I laughed and said, "What? Why should I go to the doctors? I am very fine. I'm just on a little diet."
I tried to laugh it off, but Alex and just looked more worried so I guess they didn't believe me. Even though I didn't realize it at the time, I was always in a state of mourning and had become morbidly thin. I guess my heart was screaming I didn't want to worry Alex and Isef, so I didn't tell them about how Henry was saying things to me at that time. But I was so sure of this conclusion up with, Henry doesn't have any love for me anymore, and he found someone better outside our relationship. To Henry, I think Rose and our E, was just in his way. There were many signs from him which think that way. Since the number of Henry's business trips increased, he has started to prepare for them by himself by buying underwear, which he used to make me do, and even comes back from these business trips. I can always smell the same scent on him and his luggage. I don't know if Henry was even trying to hide it or if he thinks I'm too stupid to notice, even though I may be stupid and just a high school graduate. I still have the WC intuition that he should not underestimate. The hardest part is that although I am almost certain that my husband is cheating on me, I cannot imagine a life without him. I know for sure that I can't continue like this, but then when I start thinking about actually raising a child on my own as a single parent, my feet start to shake. I am sure this is where my husband that I am an idiot. I don't have the courage to stand up for myself, nor do I have any confidence in myself at all. I have no parents to rely on, no Ray, no savings of my own. No. Job in hand, child is very young, so there is how much I can work. No matter how hard I think about it, stuck in this situation that I had choice but to be stuck. So I would get more and more worn out, morbidly thin.
One day, Henry came home early looking troubled. So I asked him, "What's the matter? You seem a little strange today. How was your day at work today?"
As I asked, he responded, "I got fired."
"What?
I couldn't understand what he said. He said it so casually.
Wait, what? You mean that you were asked to leave from your job and never to come back?"
Yes. Fired. Just fired. When Meredith and I were fondling our company car, an employee found out and reported on us, and now the whole company knows about it.
Did he just admit that he was cheat? Now? He was fondling with Meredith in the car and was reported about it. What a shame. I found myself becoming strangely... Does he even realize that he just revealed the affair he was having with Meredith? His wife? Could it be that he said it on purpose? Just to see my reaction for it.
When I was just speechless, Silver just smirked and said, "Well, now I'm jobless, so you should work as a breadwinner."
He said this as he laughed sardonically. At that moment, I felt something snap for the very first time.
"No way. I'm leaving. I
must have had a poker face at that. However, the only people I could read, Alex and Isabel. Alex seemed very surprised to see my luggage with Rose, but he welcomed me and took the time to listen to what I had to say. Then, because it was better to deal with the situation as soon as possible, Alec took Rose with Isabel and they left. And I went to Henry's parents' house.
Before Henry could lay any groundwork to frame you, we have to move fast.
Alex was very supportive and helpful. I'm very thankful to him. Me realized that people like Alex can run and be successful in their own businesses. Went to my husband's parents' house, which was a 20-minute drive away from Alex, and reported the whole story, including his recent attitude with fact that he had been fired from having an affair with Meredith. I was not stupid after all. I had kept a memo and recorded notes of Henry's business trips, which I used while explaining the situation to Max and Sadie. When I told everything to Max and Sarah were so furious with their own son, they called Henry to come out here, even though it was in the middle of the night. It seems that Henry had been drinking after Rose and I left. When he woke up at his parents' house drunk, Max was both very angry with him, which made Henry feel even worse about himself. Max yelled at Henry, blaming him for everything he had done. And Sadie cried, understanding just how deep in trouble he was. Then Max and Sadie made Henry apologize in front of me and Alex. Max also had Henry call up Meredith and delete her number from Henry's phone. In fact, Max asked me if I wanted to come here, but since I didn't even know her face, I refused and said I absolutely did not want to see her. Max made sure to get Meredith's name, address, and reminded both Henry and that we would be getting a lawyer to claim for alimony. I was overwhelmed by Max's sheer skill. Alex, who accompanied me and was there to help me through it all. It was reassuring to have both of them with me. Henry's alimony was paid to me by Max and Sadie on the spot. They paid me $30,000. When they paid this, I became worried. I thought they had overpaid, but then they said again, saying that there was nothing wrong with me at all. I was just a very good wife to Max, and Sadie loved me very much. Henry just ruined everything, and now may that this is the least they could do for me. I am not a thief, and I do not deserve to be treated like one. I will return the money as soon as possible. I certainly need as much money as possible for my future life without my husband. So, in the end, I gratefully took the Max and Sadie made Henry promise to pay child support as well. Max and Sadie also said that they would take full responsibility to check on Henry's complete his payments to me for child support. They are very reassuring. By the time the discussion was over, Henry had curled up into a little ball.
Seeing Henry like that, suddenly all my troubles had been wiped away. Thinking, was I really suffering a time because of this pathetic worth?
I wonder if it seemed like our positions were reversed, or if you were ready to go your separate ways from me, even though I had been frightened. Since Henry was out of job, Henry went to work at his friend, fisherman named Max, on a boat to fish for tuna. Since this boat goes overseas for a year, once the boat sails, he will half a year on the boat. Since there's no place to have fun, he struggles to stay alive. Max would then collect the salary he earned as a fisherman and transfer the child's money to me. Since it's a hard job, the salary should be better than when he was at office, and I receive more child support than promised at first, which is very helpful. Sadie told me with a laugh that we're child support for Rose and the alimony. Payment made to Max and Sadie. Henry had only a small amount of money.
It's his fault. It's not our problem.
Sadie said with a laugh, and to that, even when he is off the boat, he has to fool around, so it sucks to be him. As for me, I was able to return to my workplace thanks to Alex's arrangement. I was familiar with everyone at work, able to work in a relaxed environment. Rose could come to work without any hesitation. Alex and Isabel continue to be my best friends, and we often go on dinners, trips, and enjoy our time together. I have lost almost about 20 lbs, but almost gained a lot of it back, and condition is getting better, thanks to the support of those around her who have always looked after her. She started to smile more and is now ready to start kindergarten this year. Alex and Isabel will also be there for Rose's first day of kindergarten. We'll feel warm and fuzzy thinking that they have such loving and involved parents, grandparents. Thanks to Alex and Isabel, who always warmly welcomed us. And Max and Sally, we still keep in touch today. All of them show a lot of love and care towards Rose, which makes her grow up to be a gentle and kind child. With everyone watching over us, we, parents and children, have been able our lives happily. At one point in my life, when I was living, Henry, I had given up hope and thought my life was hopeless. But now that I'm on my own, I realize, although I couldn't think it, is like that when I lost my mother, I actually had many people taking care of me. As I am not alone, and with the help of May Sadie's support, I received child support from Henry, so I feel that my life is now complete. I had lost all confidence in myself, but Henry kept making fun of me. However, if I live honestly and work hard, I do need to worry about being denied by anyone. I am going to continue to live my one looking forward to the future that my parents, who are in heaven, W happy and smiling over us from there.